Hello, everyone. Hello. Okay, so, today is, Jacob's Backstage Pass, and we're going to be watching Cats. I tried this last night and, or yesterday, and it got, booted off. So, I've rearranged a few things, and, we're going to try again. So, because I promised everyone I would do it. So, I want to do it so that you have time to watch it before they take down the live stream. And yeah, so there we go. So my name is Jacob Brent, if you don't know who I am, and I played Mr. Mistoffelees in the Broadway company, and the West End company, and the 1998 version of Cats, film version, which is what we're going to be watching today. Or, yeah. And it's so funny because I always say 1997 because that's when we actually shot it, but they released it in 1998. As they do in most movies, you shoot them way before they're released. So I thought it would be fun just to kind of go through, watch the movie with you, and give sort of an impressions of, give some backstage, tidbits, and really kind of explain the movie. A lot of people don't understand Cats, and I totally understand why, but there is such a beautiful story here, and maybe we can finally, like, once and for all, clear it up and let you know what it is. It is morning here, so I am having a little tea with Jay. That's Jacob. I don't know why I called myself Jay. I never call myself Jay. Okay. Maybe I'm nervous because I'm live on YouTube. Hey, YouTubers, what's up? Here we go. We're going to try it again and see what happens. All right. Yeah, so I was in the Broadway production I joined in 91, and I think in 96 we broke the record of longest running Broadway show. Is that right? Maybe in the fall of 96. And I was Mistoffelees in that production, and and at the party they asked me to do they told me they were going to do a film of this, and I thought that was never going to happen if it was going to happen, they certainly weren't going to ask me because no one in Broadway usually got the film roles. So and about 6 months later they called me and asked me to go get on a plane to come over and be in the film. So it's truly just extraordinary, and I just want to make sure that everyone knows, like, I understand how blessed I am and how magical and special and what a wonderful opportunity that was, and it has afforded me and really just changed my life. So everyone involved in that, thank you so much for trusting me with this role to do it. It was a really wild, crazy experience from the get-go, because even getting over there was a crazy experience. It was like touch and go all the time. It was like, go to the airport. No, stay. Don't go to the airport. Go to the airport, because they had to work out my work visa to get over there. And it was like last minute, and people were running around. It was, and I thought, even then I thought, oh, this is not going to happen. All of this, and this is not going to happen. But it did happen, and it was a wonderful, amazing experience that I hope that I can share with you. So here we are. We're going to start. What you're going to need to do is pull it up on YouTube. It's running live right now. Through Andrew's YouTube, I believe. Or The Show Must Go On or something like that. Just type in Cats and it's running. It might end shortly overseas, and I think it's here till Sunday in the States. So that's what we're going to do. I have a stopwatch. I'm going to try to connect that. I've put the times in the chat or in the description. So if you get lost, you can kind of look for that, and I will tell you that the title names as we go. Okay. Hi, Diamond Sword 400. Hi. Thank you for saying hi. Yeah, it was really fun. I was really bummed about last night, but here we are. We're moving on. It's a new day. So, let's watch Cats, everyone. I can't wait. hopefully I'll remember stuff and be able to tell you. So let's see. I'm going to go here. So I didn't start at the beginning. I started right at the overture. Let's start again, right? I want to make sure that we get the timer right. Hi, Brazil. I just want to make sure we catch up a little bit. Bum 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 ba-dum bum 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 ba-dum bum. Hello, everyone. Yes. Feed me your questions too. I'm happy to answer as we go along. Oh, I know what happened. Yes. It's because they had a commercial in front, or they had a notice to donate to Broadway Cares or the Actors Fund. Absolutely, you should do that. So that is what, and that those links are in the description. So if you feel like it, please donate, because people need help. People need help right now, and we can help them. Okay. I'm gonna get this here. Okay. Now I think we're kind of line up with this. Yes, Trevor Nunn. Okay. Yep, good. I'm thinking about a second ahead, but we're good. Designed by John Napier. I mean, amazing designs. Amazing. Nigel Wright produced the music. And I love this part about the overture in the film, because in the Broadway show we would run out with green eyes, these little lights that would light up, and I thought they translated that really well into the film. Here's the spaceship part. Oh my god, this overture is so 80s. I don't even know where you get those sounds. I've never heard them before. It's just like this, that like spaceship sound is so Cats. I remember the first time that I opened on Broadway and this overture started, I was just like, I cannot believe this is about to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, musical, staged, choreographed, everything by our fearless leader, Gillian Lynn. God, I just love her so much. I love that drum. Bum 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 ba. It's so fun. The run up. Ba-dum. And then look at that beautiful set with that beautiful moon. So good. Okay, so now what's happening here is we're in a junkyard. The car comes across. That's Demeter. Demeter has been kidnapped by Mungojerrie. She knows that all of Macavity. Sorry. She knows that all of the cats come together tonight on this one night to have this Jellicle Ball. And she knows that if she can escape Macavity, she can get to the rest of the tribe and be safe. Look at those twins. Cora Capat and Tantamile. Brilliant. They're just stunning in this movie. Demeter, played by Ava May. Gorgeous. Look at Michael Gruber. Look at this. Stunning. Just handsome leading man. Look at that. Look at that makeup. So all these opening lines are questions. And they're supposed to confront the audience. Can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? Because we can. And we're Jellicle. And we're just slightly better than the human race. And the choreography is interesting and odd and strangely feline. That voice, Ken Page. Are you kidding me? Yes. And we're saying, you sit down and we'll tell you a story. The Piper's assistant. Oh, I haven't seen this in forever, so it's so fun because to me it's like, okay, close up. To me it's like if you went back to a high school reunion or a college reunion or something, like this is like, and then to have that on video, it's kind of crazy just to see all these faces and people and remembering everything. Oh, I love this. I love this trapeze. She was so good at that. It was always Tumble Brutus on Broadway. So I love that it was etc. Speak with your bombs? Yes. Oh, okay, yes. That picture that I'm backstage taking, I'm taking a picture of... I'll tell you in a second. So, this is my favorite part. Choir on the tire. And I love this. The Jellicle Cats are queens of the night. And this was us just singing joyfully. There's so much joy in this show. And the boot. Okay, so the boot is supposedly, we are out singing in this junkyard, and there's a house or apartment building next door, and they're tired of listening to the cats just howl, so they throw the boot out the window to get us to shut up. And now here we go with my favorite, our Pledge of Allegiance. The mystical divinity. So yeah, the direction here was you must sing this like you're singing the Pledge of Allegiance for your own country. And that pride that you have for wherever you're from and whoever you are. And the middle finger must be touching the knuckle of this middle finger. It's just the detail that Jillian had for this. And I love these shots because you can really see everybody and you can see all of the makeup. Here's some of my favorite lyrics. Fearless, faithful, and true. Come on, T.S. Eliot. Come on. You better write some lyrics. I love that time. So in I can never hear this without hearing our musical director who was on the click track so we could hear him. And he had this great accent, and we'd always go Jellicles who, and he'd go 3 4, and then we'd do it. So from that moment on, any production, every time I've seen Cats, I always hear 3 4 in my brain. These lyrics, oh my gosh, took about I was probably like 3 weeks into the show till I finally figured out what they were for. What they were. There was a lot of cats. Cats. Oh, I used to love political cats. I would do that. I'd get in trouble. Oh, Simon Lee. Thank you, Hans Krefall. Simon Lee. 3 4. And then here we are. Broadway. Shwa. So if you also look in the opening on that position, it's the very first time that we as cats really open up and present ourselves fully. And if you like an animal protects itself, and only when they feel completely comfortable do they like open and let you see their belly. So that's sort of what that interpretation is that we're fine, you're gonna stay there, we're gonna do that, and so we open. Now we get into naming of cats. We're at the naming of cats. Oh, and I just fell down. If you... I've never seen that. That is so funny. So I totally tripped over someone's foot and fell down. Or like I stumbled to get down. I love naming of cats. So we're at naming of cats. If you do the counter, this is where we should be on YouTube, on the YouTube live. Okay, I'm doing it through YouTube, not another streaming service. So we shot this movie over. It took 3 months to film. We rehearsed for a month. All of these people are from different companies all around the world. And we came together and we made this definitive production, really. And we took, every time they did cats, it was a little different. It was not like a book. There was not like a Bible book, what they call the Bible for a show, of choreography. And it was just set the exact same way. It was sort of always a little bit changed up for whoever was doing it. So then we had to take all these different companies and put them together as one and figure out, oh, let's steal that from Broadway. Let's do this from London. Let's do this from Paris. Let's take this from the Humber Company. So we rehearsed for about a month, and then we shot for about 2 months, which was makeup every day, 5 a.m., sitting in a chair. We had makeup artists do our makeup. For the show, you do your own makeup. And for the movie we did, we had different makeup artists do our makeup because it had to be the same every single day. So you would go in, 5 a.m., sit, they do their makeup, then a full ballet class, and then we'd get ready, and we would go start filming. I can hear my little cat wanting to get into the room. So people have asking if we recorded the vocals before, and the answer is yes. And then we sang live during the filming. And now I love this next part. This is, to me, just quintessential Gillian Lynn. So feline. Look at that opening. And this is Phillida, who is just stunning. It's so odd and beautiful and otherworldly. And I love this part when she goes down the leg and then you see her little claws and she just clawing up. And then this, she comes up and it's just a surprise. This like just keeps going. And then a releve and hold. And then I'll bring it down. And then I shall split. And then reaching up to the moonlight. No, it's not really her coming of age yet. It's just, she's just, this is pure innocence. This is pure innocence in the moonlight. That's why she's in white. And then I say, we got to get this party started. And I thank her for doing such a beautiful job, but I'm going to move you aside and we're going to invite everybody in. Okay, so when I was telling you that we were recording this, the first time I ever met Andrew Lloyd Webber on the film was I was in the recording studio with the earphone, you know, doing the whole thing, living my best life. And in the booth walks Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber while I'm recording a song of his. And I'm thinking, oh my God. So I just kept thinking, oh, wait till you see me dance. Please, let me dance for you first. And then we recorded that song for about 2 hours. Yep, he just kept asking for more and making changes. And then I think eventually he was like, all right, well, we'll fix it. We'll fix it. Okay, so this is where I missed the whole point of this. This is really the story. We all come together and we pick one person that's going to get reborn. Cats have 9 lives, so who will get their new life tonight? And we're all very excited. And of course, Ginny and Jelly have already been here. We all got the invitations. It's happening at this junkyard. Ginny and Jelly have been there earlier. They put up Christmas lights. They've decorated it all. And now we just do a show. And I think, well, certainly it's my time. So I stand up and ready to do my number. And then Mungojerrie reminds me that, nope, you're not yet. You're later in the night. So he gets all embarrassed. Okay, keep going. I'm going to be right back. I've got to let my cat in. And I make the car boot go up the trunk, and there's Gumbie. Look, it's a little Mungojerrie. I love this part because it's fully Andrew Sisters, and I love the nod. I love the nod to, you know, we're about to do a military tap number, and just the fact that paired with the like Andrew Sisters feeling is just so brilliant. Brilliant on Andrew's part, Sir Andrew's part, ALW, that he used that vocabulary. Thank you. His name is Oliver. Because we found him, my cat, we found him on the street. in the rain. He was just a little baby cat, and so we named him Oliver. Musical theater nerd. And these three girls, come on, these women. So, these aren't actually cockroaches. They're the cats playing cockroaches. Jenny Any Dots has put this number together, and she's had rehearsal all week for it, for the big splashy number. And we've made our own Beatles costumes out of things that we found in the trash. So that's why we have like their trash bag suits and these big glasses, and we carry utensils. And this was a much longer number. It's a much longer number in the show, and they cut it down for timing's sake, I believe. I'm not in the tap number in the movie, but I was on Broadway. I actually liked not being in the tap number in the movie because this was a day off for me. Oh yeah, sell it, Syllabub! And no, everyone's congratulating her. Oh, she did such a good job. She's like, I know. And then, what happens? Late as always, with an entrance. So this is the amazing John Partridge. He's just... I love his Tugger. Okay, so now he's going to kick this ball of yarn, and I'm supposed to catch it, but in this take, it didn't happen. And I totally miss it. And they kept going. And I love that, I mean, we shot that maybe 30 times, and I only missed it once, and that's the one they use. I love this choreography. I think it's some of the best choreography in the show. Look at little Syllabub. Although she's called Jemima. No. What is... Yeah, Jemima. She's Jemima in this. So, she's either called Jemima or Syllabub. Depends on what country and which production you're in. So I never danced this as Mistoffelees, but when I started the show as Pouncival and covered Mistoffelees for 6 months, and I used to love dancing this. And there we have the amazing Rosemary Ford. So Tugger and Bon Ballerina have a little thing. They like to play that they're not into each other, but they really are. I love that shot that she drops down into the split. So this is from I think this is just a nod of Andrew's, ALW's, love for rock and roll. You know, there is the, so in the show, he would run out in the audience and pick up somebody or get somebody and, dance with them and, kind of cause havoc. So we couldn't really do that in the movie. So we came up with all this, that he would run around in different vignettes and, I love that the Ginny and Jelly were needle pointing, and that prop took like forever to make. I just remember these two people just for days and days making it, and then it's on screen for like 3 seconds. So I guess, yeah, I mean, Tugger's based on Mick Jagger, Elvis, Little Richard, maybe a little David Bowie in there. This always got a laugh, and on Broadway or anywhere in the production, the girls going crazy for him. Just a real nod to the Beatles being on Ed Sullivan. And then this part was fun to dance because we could dance, and then it was free boogie, and sometimes you could just live your life in that free boogie and try not to get notes from the dance captain. And here we have Grizabella. Now, I'll tell you the Grizz story. Grizz used to be in our I'm gonna take this out because it's easier to talk. Used to be in our tribe, and she decided to leave the tribe to go off and be a famous actress, if you will. And that did not happen, and she ended up falling on hard times, and maybe just was going to be the star and kind of fallen. And now she's coming back to ask for forgiveness. Again, she knows this night happens. This is the night the Jellicles happen. That we come together. Now, Demeter, who has been traveling around and escaped, has actually seen Grizabella walking around and knows who she is. So the adult cats in the tribe knows who Grizabella is. The younger cats don't know. That's why, yes, Bounciful's so rude. He's not rude. He just doesn't know. He's like, he doesn't know. So he comes up and he scratches her. But the other little kittens come up. See the little kittens here? They're coming up to smell her, to see who this is. And Jelly Lorem knows who she is and says, wait, don't go there. Bombalurina, and so Bomb and Grizz should actually be closer in age. They were sort of best friends, and then she left, and Grizabella left, which is why when they come back, there's this attitude about it. And she and Mungojerrie have a little thing, and so she comes back in and she confronts him and says, "Are you going to let me back in?" And this is why Demeter knows, because Demeter has been out in the world and has seen Grizabella walking around. And Tottenham Court, at the time that T.S. Eliot wrote this, was not really, from what I understand, was not a great area. A lot of drugs happening there, prostitution. So perhaps seeing her at Tottenham Court equated her with sort of a low sort of lifestyle. So she's not old. She's just fallen. And I love, I mean, the legendary Elaine Page. I mean, she invented it, right? I mean, it was just amazing to work with Elaine. Like, that is Evita. That's Evita right there. That's Grizabella. Chess. And I love this look that Rosemary gives. Oh my God, Rosemary, yes. That look of just, how dare you? Yes, I know. There's a lot of stories about this, and I'm clearing it all up. So it's so interesting that they say, who would ever thought that? The fact that we don't even call her a name, we call her a that. And then we all learn her name, Grizabella. And I love Elaine's just take on it is so like, there's such a strength and inner strength that she walks in with, but yet she's on the outside like broken. So it's like she's just hanging on by a thread. That's right. She stands up and yep, I still got it. Now she just came off of playing Norma Desmond before this, so I think a little bit of that is in here. But here we are into Bustopher. Just everyone's favorite. And Andrew's favorite. So he loves Bustopher Jones, which is why there's an extra verse in this. Yeah. So. We love Bustopher so much, and it would be so nice and amazing if Bustopher stopped and stayed and gave us a little story that we love so much. Bustopher's your favorite uncle. He's your favorite uncle that comes to the party and, always has a little story to tell. And of course, I love him as Mistoffelees. Mistoffelees loves Bustopher because we look the same. But he is not my dad. Oh yeah, so this is played by James Barron. He was Bustopher. I don't have many stories about him other than he was lovely. He really came in and he had a day or two of shooting, I think, and then that was it. So I don't have many stories about him. I mean. I just love this choral sound here. It just felt good singing that part, And then the little ones, the younger kittens, and I'm, think I'm all like this is the first time. So think of it like, I don't know. In America, we have like Thanksgiving. So we have these tables where like the adults sit and then there's the kids table at Thanksgiving. And this is the first time. Oh. Everyone likes that licking of the lips part. No, I didn't have to reapply that makeup. It didn't come off. That makeup is like plaster on there. It's not moving. So think of it as this. Is this the first time Mistoffelees gets to sit at the big table? So I get to stand up with the big boys. And so when the little ones roll in and start playing, I get very upset. Like, don't ruin this for all of us. Now, Jenny loves Bustopher. She has a little crush on Bustopher. And everyone knows it. And we've all seen that Bustopher Jones cat walking around town. We have one that comes by. It's just a street cat, and he's just big, and I'm just wonder where he eats. But no, I can never get this part. Jillian wanted me to walk like somebody. She kept saying this person, a military person, and I couldn't really ever find who it was. So I just did my best. Yes, I love that. That he gives her a little flower and she faints. And then what's happened? Macavity wanted for everything. So we think it's Macavity, the meanest cat on the block, and everyone's going to hide, but it really was just the cops. And we hear this car, And so the big boys, the older ones, are going to protect. That's Alonso and Macavity and Mungojerrie. No, Ginny and Skimble are not a thing. Ginny and Skimble are friends. And here we go. Mungo Rump. Joe Gibb and Drew Varley. I mean, they are just... I've worked with a lot of Rumples and a lot of Mungos. And there have been some great duos. And they are up there in the top. But I do want to say there have been some really great ones that are not on the film that have just been fabulous. Papa. I think this is some of Jillian's best choreography too. Of course, I say that about every number. This whole show is just brilliantly choreographed. Just absolutely brilliantly choreographed. It's not jazz or ballet. Everything has its own vocabulary, and it's not like Broadway choreography. Yeah. And choreographed in 1981 and not a pot of beret in it. You know, it doesn't look 80s. So cheeky. She's so cheeky. So Joe and Drew were really good friends of mine during the filming. Joe and I kind of really connected and just hung out a lot. I love that little step that they did. And then key change. And I think that's the hardest part of the whole show. So any Rumples or Mungos out there that are watching, you can let me know. This was good. This is the only song that I know. People were asking if I prefer this song or the original. So the original song was a completely different meter, and same song, just different meter. I'm partial to this one because just iconic, those cartwheels. And so then we realize, the cats realize that it's just Mungo Rump, and they're just causing havoc. So we go back, and we take their loot that they've gotten, and we throw it at them. Let's see. Oh, now he picks up a sense. And I look to Monk, and he says to the twins, and they know, because the twins have this magical power. And then Mungojerrie tells Mistoffelees to go and escort Deuteronomy, and the highest honor that I think that you can have. And now the cats are going to clean themselves and listen to the story of Old Deuteronomy. Now, yeah, Drew is, that number's hard. So, Old Deuteronomy does not come to every Jellicle Ball. He, I guess, an invitation's maybe always sent, but he just says he doesn't always show up. So the fact that he is showing up at this one is huge ordeal, and there's a reason why he's showing up at this. So my friend Hans, who was in the Broadway company with me, is watching, and he reminded me of selfishly stretching. Yes. So you had to make a weird shape, but you couldn't, you weren't supposed to pull focus on that stretch. And one time, from the back of the theater, Jillian yells, "Two people are selfishly stretching." So somebody was pulling focus. I don't know. And this was a really hard part because you could only have one hip and one hand on the floor, and the rest of your body had to be up and somehow. And we see Deuteronomy coming from afar, and we get into our wedge. Uh-oh. No. Oh, and here he is. The legend that is Ken Page. He is Deuteronomy. When he walks in the room, it's like Santa Claus. It's just, he's there and he goes, "All right, Tugger, I see you. What are you going to do? Be cheeky." And he's reverent. And he says, "There you go. I've taught you well." And then listen to this voice. So Ken was the original Deuteronomy and on Broadway. And then to get to play it again, so many, I don't know how many years later, but so now that he's here, we can proceed on with the show that we've done. So this Pekes and Pollicles is really Mungostrap's moment to tell the story of the Pekes and Pollicles, which are dogs. So now as cats, we're going to make fun of these dogs. And this is really just done as a show for Deuteronomy. There are so many words here. I mean, and Gruber's just so fantastic at doing this. So a verse was cut there. So this is, Mungo and Rump. They play the Peke and the Pollicle. But they kind of missed rehearsal because they were out stealing stuff. So they mess it up. No. They didn't mess up the barks, for real. So here the cat's playing big dumb dogs. I love that moment with Pounceville. And of course, Tugger comes in to mess it all up because he wasn't at rehearsal and he wants this to be all about him. And Mungojerrie tries to save it. And getting frustrated that the number's not going the way he wants it to go. So the reason why he's screaming is because we've just lost the plot and we're just doing what we want to do, and he's trying to calm us down and get back onto the track. So he was supposed to enter from the other side, and then he missed rehearsal, of course. And so this really isn't a different cat. This is Ametis playing the Great Rumpus Cat. So this is played by the fantastic Frank Thompson. Who's a great dance captain for the show, and then has become a really fantastic choreographer himself. And this great costume, just like with the shading. So again, Rumpus Cat is all part of the show. He's not a cat that's different. This is a costume. Yes, Monk needs a stage manager. And we're ready for the big finale, and then Tugger just interrupts it again, like, hey. I love singing this part too. Okay, we have a... So how did his hair stand up? It was somehow attached. There was a little string that he pulled in the back, and the hair went up. Now we're going to get punished by our fearless leader, saying we should not make fun of we should not make fun of dogs, that we are all the same. And now Macavity is real this time and here, because he has heard that Deuteronomy is here. And everyone is hidden. And Mungojerrie is making sure that everything's fine. And somehow it looks like Deuteronomy's scared, but it really is just Mistoffelees behind him. And he says, Mistoffelees trying to be a big kid now, and he's sent off to the pipe. And Mungojerrie is not going to leave Deuteronomy's side. And Deuteronomy moves him aside and says it's okay. And little Victoria, being innocent, not knowing what's happened or what this sound is investigating. And her little best friend, Jemima, comes out and they say, "Oh, hello, friend." This is the amazing Jason Gardner playing Alonzo in a black and white costume, which I like. So in London, the costume for Alonzo was black and white. They changed it for Broadway, and I prefer the black and white costume. And Jason was a great friend too. I had many notes about that airs and graces because I was doing a hard American air, and they were like, they didn't want that hard R in there. Yes, Brises. Come on, Brises. And then we just whirl ourselves up into a sort of frenzy and then open up into this big Jellicle Cats. And then we go into the ritual, which I think this lighting is just so stunning. And Phillida there. And what I love about this is the ritual is the same in every production, everywhere. And this coming down, this is a nod, pre-masquerade happening, and Phantom. And I love that wherever you are, if you're anywhere that someone says, oh, they were in Cats, you can start the ritual and everyone will do it. And it's really sort of this universal language that we all have. And reaching back and chest to the moonlight, receiving the moonlight. And then we're drugged by the moon. We're possessed, shaking it out. Tension, and then it hits us, and then we start this frenzy. Yeah, it's a nod to Phantom, except for this is before Phantom, so really Phantom is the nod to Cat. So I didn't in the movie I got to do the downstage part, which was called Firebird. But I did not do that in the Broadway show. So I was so excited when I got to do Firebird. British Airways. This is supposed to be seeing an airplane, a British airplane going across the sky, which is why we follow it and we head roll. Don Q step. Oh my gosh. Jillian rehearsed me for hours on this. hours that Don Q step. I think I've got it. Then Alonso says, "Hello, friend, I'll show you." And I say, "Yes." And then I dance with Pouncival. And here comes Tumble Brutus, the lovely Fergus, who Fergus was actually a Mistoffelees at the time in the London production. So a lot of these people were in the London production, and they would be up at 5, make up. We would film until 5, and then they would leave and go do the show at night. Isn't that crazy? So Fergus would be there shooting all day long, and Joe and I believe Joe and they were in the show too. So along with a couple of other people. So I can't believe it. This is Honky Tonk. That's what this is called? This is Honky Tonk section. Yeah, Joe and Drew were in the show, and they would leave and go do the show at night. I don't know how they did it. So this is usually Mungojerrie and Pouncival, but since Fergus was Mistoffelees, at night I think they changed this to be Tumble Brutus. And I just want to point for the record that Fergus in that section is on the right counts, and I'm the one that's off the counts. That's why we're not jumping together. I was late. Fergus was right. I'm full disclosure, going on the record. Whirligigs. Again, I'm supposed to be bent over a little bit more, but I think that was probably the 25th take, and I was just like, oh my god, I can't do this anymore. And that's the one they used. I love this little solo. And just, it's effortless. And we receive the light. Yes. And we part the mist. Something's different. Something's coming. And sort of, so this is now you were asking earlier, this is really the awakening of Victoria. So the first solo is very innocent, and this one is a little less innocent. Just beautiful. Everyone's just... And then something is happening here. Yes, Bren. Bren plays Plato and Macavity. Same actor, but different roles. So Plato is not Macavity. So we see that Grizabella has come back, and I say, let's get this party started again, and I turn on the lights, and we go into my favorite part. And we dance. No, it's not a mating dance. It's just like, it's not really mating. It's like, even my cats do it. They just get together and they lick each other, and they clean each other, and they just like snuggle up with each other. And it's a safety, it's a community. And that's what that is that we're just coming together, and we're just like, it's not really that we're all mating. It's that we're connecting as a community. Jette's going across. I think this is shot so well. So exciting. Ladies Latin that gets cut, and the build up. This was so fun to dance. He is so dark and dangerous. Unofficial lyrics. Big boys come in. So this really, Jillian wanted to really sort of, she was inspired by, I think, Jerome Robbins at this point, and that we have these two groups, male against female, trying to up one another with dancing. Look at John Partridge dancing. Come on. I think he might be the only Tugger that has danced this part. And that's because John started as an Alonzo in the West End Company and graduated up to Tugger. This section was a little different for me, so I did not do this section and then came in for Warsaw here. But in New York, I had to do that whole section. And when I joined the London production, I had to do that whole section. So only in the film is Mistoffelees not in that section. And I love this drag step, drag step, drag step. Reach and reach, swipe and serve and sha. Yes, and this is just, you're putting it all out on the table, and at this point in the ball, you're so freaking exhausted because you've been dancing for 11 minutes, and you just have to give everything you got to do this and get those legs up. Into the sixes. Da 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 ba cha. Da da da. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Run up, and then your last jeté for your life, and end on the floor. And then we think we've done such a brilliant job that we turn around and we say, aren't we so great, Deuteronomy? Like, what do we do? And then Grizabella comes, and we think that she's interrupting again, and we get really upset. And I love this. John just walks by, pops his collar, and keeps walking. And little Jemima saying, well, I'll touch you. And the older cats say no. And Demeter doesn't know what to do. And Monk just turns and walks away from her. And little Victoria almost touches her. And I love that. I love that Susan Jane just was like, no. I know that Violeta is just that face. It's like a little anime face. And I just love that part. I kind of love that part because it gives a chance for Ginny and Jelly to show something else. And they show this fierceness toward Grizabella. And now this dance is just Grizabella all alone. She thinks she's alone. And she's going to relive the moment. She says, well, I can still do it. I can still dance the ball. And she sees her hand not looking so good. And she tries to do the step and her back hurts. And she's like, well, maybe I can still speak with my bum. And it's just not working the way that she wants it to. And I love this walk here. Yes. And how it just fades away. thing I loved about working with Elaine is that, you know, I just, any job that I do, I just try to like observe as much as possible. Because one, I started so young, and I just wanted to really learn my craft from the legends that were I've had the pleasure of working with. And so for her, it was just watching her and like learning. She was such an amazing actress. Like, yes, she's known for this amazing voice. I mean, that is Memory right there singing. The voice of Memory. But it just, her acting, she knew every moment. She worked through every moment. I just was impressed and inspired by her. And she really does think she's by herself at this point. And Deuteronomy sees her for the first time and really learning about her story. I think this costume is so beautiful too. So it used to be they would take a coat. They would make a coat out of like muslin or fabric, and they would take these fur pieces and actually glue them on to make this. And then they would like rip it and shred it, and it basically weighed nothing, and it was like so about to fall apart, but it was stunning because most of the time people wear these fur coats in other productions, and they're like amateur productions, and they're just too big, you know, and she has to look like she's on her last leg. And she walks, and she thinks, okay, well, that's it. I'll walk away. And then Deuteronomy takes this step, and she hears something and thinks, oh, is there someone there? And she reaches back, and she reaches back. Is someone there? Anyone gonna touch me? And she realizes that maybe it's not worth it, and walks away. And from this point, Deuteronomy knows who must be chosen. So that was usually intermission. And of course, we can't have intermission. So this was the beginning of Act 2, which was always a really fun part because it doesn't sound like an opening of an Act 2. And so we would just kind of come back in, and it was really fun live because you would be able to crawl through the audience, kind of come through people, come out whenever you wanted. Well, no, it's all timed, so not whenever you wanted, but it was a great time to play. And here we have the amazing Sir John Mills, who played Gus. Marcus Trap, the leader, showing reverence to Gus. Would I work with John Partridge again? I would work with any of these people again in a heartbeat. The moments of happiness. it's really Deuteronomy's moment to tell us about the reflection that he's just had with Grizabella. He's just learned this information, and now he has to somehow convey to us that we need to come together and forgive Grizabella. We need to look in our own lives and realize that we've all been there, are all capable of being there, and that we are all one, and that we're sort of the same, and that we can, any of us this could happen to any of us, and we need to come together, but we have to find it out as a group, which is sort of the brilliance of Deuteronomy, is he doesn't tell us who to choose. We have to come together to figure out who to choose collectively. And here the twins. And they receive the energy from the ground, and Jemima stands up and sings. Now this used to be... I'm sorry, I'm just watching. And she's the voice of innocence. And if we find there what the meaning of happiness is, it's beautiful poetry, beautiful poetry. So originally, Jemima was Sarah Brightman in the original. And I sort of believe, I don't know, because I wasn't there, but I think this is why that was written for Sarah. And from here, Sarah goes on to play Christine in Phantom. I used to love this part. And then we were supposed to feel the energy coming from the floor, as if like a tree, like the roots of a tree coming into you, and the energy building, so you have nothing else to do but to stand up. And one count, stand. And we rehearsed that for hours. We would just be down, and they would go, and Jillian would go and stand, and we'd have to be up in a second. Hi, Fergus. I just gave you a really good shout out earlier. I'm so glad you're here. And Gus starts to walk away because he doesn't quite know where he is. Perhaps a little dementia. And Deuteronomy says, "Oh, Gus, won't you stay and sit and tell us a story?" And I think he's a little too nervous or doesn't quite know what's happening, so his caretaker, Jelly, is going to say it for him. And I love that little shoulder that she does just to comfort him. So great. His name is really Asparagus. Come on. So a couple of things. People are asking, what are we supposed to be looking at in the stand? It's sort of just, you're entranced by this light and this new world or new life that you kind of see for yourself, and then it disappears. This vision sort of disappears. So this is the amazing, oh my god, Sue Jane Tanner, who was the original Jelly Lorem in 1981. She created Jelly Lorem, legend, and they invited her back to do the show, to be Jelly Lorem in the movie. I think that's just wonderful. Yeah, Sue is really a brilliant Jelly Lorem because she created it. So Gus always gets me. He's just so sweet. And so Gus is always supposed to be here. It's not like he just wandered in. He just was a little slower getting here than everyone else. So, and it's pretty much known that this is Gus's year, that he's probably going to be picked. I just love this idea of a cat being in a theater, and I guess and they would have cats to keep out the rats. So when he says Dick Whittington's cat, in panto we don't have this in America, but in pantomime there's the the gesture of that you slap your knee, and that's Dick Whittington, sort of his gesture. So, ooh, gin. Mm-hmm. Usually, yeah. Gus likes a little gin. So you can see me sitting up there, and I can tell you that bumper was about an inch wide, 2 inches wide, and I'm literally just holding just core work the whole time, holding myself up on that bumper. So he has that line, "This theater's certainly not what it was," and I can tell you on the last night of Cats on Broadway, and in London because I was there for the last night. Uh, it brought down the house. It's literally stopped the show for a while, and people just applauded. So this is the ghost of his younger self playing in the opera Growl Tiger. And it disappears. Who? Sorry, I'm just looking at the chat. Who played Amidas? Who was I believe Tony Timberlake? played. So in the other productions, oh, this breaks my heart. And then he doesn't know where he's at, and he only really recognizes Jelly Lorum, and she takes him. And Jelly gives a little nod to Deuteronomy that she'll take care of him, and we'll go off, and we'll come back later. We'll collect him and come back. And then Deuteronomy sees Skimbleshanks and says, this will get everybody going. So then everyone's favorite uncle, Skimbleshanks, played by the amazing Jeff Garrett. Just so funny. Oh my God, Jeff Garrett, one of the funniest people I've ever met in my life, had me in stitches the entire time. And this was fun because I got to be in Skimble in the movie, but not on Broadway. So on Broadway, I would have exited and started to get dressed for the Mistoffelees number. But here, because it was all cuts, I was able to be in it. And in London, he's in it too. So the break is shorter, which makes it harder. Thank you, everyone. And we make this train, and the people are sleeping. These are the passengers. So there's been a lot of... I'll finish this and I will talk about the pirates, I promise, everyone. There's a lot of chat about pirates. I prefer the pirates. Short answer, I prefer the pirates. It's very fun to do. Oh, it's a real gold piece. I'll keep that one. That's what he says. I love Skimble. It's been some great Skimbles. And as Pounceville, I got to be in the little circle and listen to the story, but that was it. The girls always hated the step because it really, I think, hurt to rock on your pelvis bones like that. And then the brilliant John Napier designed this amazing set that now, so you've sat and you've watched the whole thing all night, and then suddenly we make this train. So yeah, the train is just all stuff it's bicycle wheels. It's a big fabric. It's a big pipe that this becomes the smokestack. They're these piston things. Sometimes they're Q-tips, and we make this train. And then we think we have it all together, and then suddenly it all falls apart. Poor Skimble. And you'll see different cuts here. So he walks up, and he's up, and he's up, and he's all the way up. And then on this cut, he's not. And then he is. So now we're back to Macavity. And this time Macavity really is here. And we can hear his laughter, and there he is lurking. There was a question of Macavity's part of this tribe, and the answer is no. And I think this is one of the best costumes. So when I was Pounceful, I had to be one of those henchmen. And one night my wig fell over my face, and I couldn't see, and I fell out, and I ran right off the stage into the audience. That was a really, one of my most embarrassing moments on stage. And then here we go with Macavity number, and these two women are just exquisite. So at this point, Demeter's just frenzied. She's escaped Macavity, and now Macavity is here to collect her back. I love that they have these gloves, these girls. They get to wear the gloves and not the arm warmers. It's just those little details that just make a designer that has so much storytelling in that glove. So it's not that Macavity has magical powers. It's just that we all have once again, sorry, I like ADD back and forth. I'll tell you this about Macavity later. Here comes Rosemary. Come on. Just a star. Now, Rosemary was a host on, I believe it's called Come Dancing. So, my English friends, you can help me. I believe that's right. And I didn't know what that was when I went over to film this in 97. And then they told me that, it was a ballroom show. So people would come on television and compete in ballroom dancing on TV. And I thought, that is the craziest idea. Who is going to watch a show where people are competing in ballroom dancing? And, cut to now Dancing with the Stars. So, what did I know? But yeah, she was the host of that. So Bomb also knows Macavity, and this is about, Cavity's a bad boy, but secretly she kind of likes him. Strictly Come Dancing, yes. Thank you, Rosie. That's what it's called. And Ava used to dance on the Demeter. Ava used to dance on a show called Hot Topic. No, Hot Gossip. Hot Gossip. Hot Topic is an 80s mall. Store in the mall. Hot Gossip. And that's where she met Jillian. And, yes, I just love the connection with them there. And then they come back together. It's just, It's great. It's just this is a great duet for females and musical theater. They're not competing against each other. They're there. They're just they're living. They're owning this number. They're owning their sexuality. They're just I think it's just bravo. It's just one of the best numbers ever written for musical theater. So Demeter lets us know that Mungo has worked for Macavity. But Mungo's not mean. He's not bad. He's just got mixed up and sometimes had to do a little job. This backup dance is so fun. Shoulder, 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 and then Broadway kick. Whack, bah, flick. And walk, scan, scan, scan. Is he over there? Oh no. Is he over there? I don't know. Is he up there? I can't take it anymore, so I gotta kick my legs. No, Mungo doesn't still work from Macavity. Yes. Come on, Gillian Lynn. Excellent. And now, Macavity says, look, I'm not all bad. I'll give you back your leader. And everyone goes in to see him, except for Demeter thinks something's not quite right. And then she goes and she's like, get away, get away. And everyone doesn't understand. This is Deuteronomy. And she goes to Mungojerrie and she says, something's not right. Something's afoot. And she jumps on his back and we do a turn. And it really is Macavity. That costume is just so great. And it has all these things that stick out from it to look like this prickly fur. It's awesome. That slow motion jump. Come on. And I know they rehearsed this a long time. And this lift is really a really difficult lift for the guy because he's reversed. It's easier if he's flipped the other way. Because she's more secure because she won't like fall this way. She could have, it's really easy for her to fall. So, but Jason's just an amazing partner. So it was great. It was great fun to have that. And the Macavity fight. Here's the Macavity fight, Hans. The fight. Every night they talk about the fight. And Mungojerrie are going after Macavity. Macavity puts him in a trance. And they go and they fight. And he goes and he injures Mungojerrie, so Alonzo jumps in. And Alonzo sort of at least injures Macavity and injures him and gets injured himself. So one of his arms he's injured. So now he's getting cornered. So everyone, and I love that Jelly Lorem is like, get out of here. So yes, and he goes and he just takes there's a car battery, and he puts the two things together, and it sort of causes the electricity to go out in the place. So it's not that he's electrifying us. That's not the right word. But that he turns off the power. And Demeter thanks Mungojerrie for saving her life. Now, Macavity is not magical, okay? He can't disappear and show up and make people disappear and show up on a barge somewhere. That is not Macavity. Macavity is just that cat that causes havoc, and then you turn around and he's somewhere else sitting and like acting like nothing has happened. So now Tugger is like, okay, we got to do something. Who can fix this? Mistoffelees. It's weird for me to watch this, so I probably won't watch it so much. But I'll let it play. Yeah, they're real collars. Not real cat collars. They're made, but they're made to look like real collars and in the scale of everyone. I love this in the show. Like, it was just this one big flashlight that he's holding. That was the only light source. I just thought that was so amazing. We couldn't really do that in the film, but in theater, we could do that. And these background vocals I've never heard in my life. We never heard that until we saw the movie. And here, Mistoffelees comes. And I make the rope disappear, which doesn't really happen. Okay, I can tell you a few things here. And now I just blow up the set, basically, is what happens. So, everyone's asking about the lighted jacket. There's two little buttons that you, like, or metal pieces between these two fingers. And when you do this, it connects the circuit and the light, and there's all lights in the jacket. And so it lights up. So sometimes you can see me doing this. I think it was these fingers that would do. So he does come from the roof on that rope. And we did it in this theater, which was a whole lot taller than I have to turn the volume off for a second, but I'll keep going because I can't. It's too much. The Adelphi Theater was much taller than the Winter Garden Theater, and so I went up to the catwalk. And in New York, there's all these safety things. There was like a thing for my foot to go in. There was like a thing that I held on to, and like, you know, in the circus kind of thing, there was like a wrist thing, and I felt very comfortable, and I could come down, and usually when I was doing it, I could come down and like swing my leg out and then pull it in really fast and just like spin all the way down. It was really fun. So when I got there and I was like, okay, we're going to do the rope, and I go up, this thing is a rope. It is just a rope. And, I have gloves on too, and they were like, okay, great. So basically I just held on for dear life. So when you see that shot of me coming down, we did it a couple of times. Look at those jetés. Look at those jetés. Come on. I am a little proud of those jetés. When we did it, I only did it like a couple of times, and then finally I said, I'm too, I can't do this again. Yeah, so basically it was just hold on and come on. So if you watch it, I'm just holding on for dear life. Now now we're to the red blanket part. Also 30 times bigger than the Broadway one. I don't know why it was so big. It didn't need to be that big, and it was really hard to work with. So if every shot is me going like with this fabric, trying to work it out. The bolts of lightning come post-production. Early CGI. I did not really shoot lightning. Sorry to ruin everyone's dreams. Yeah, so this number on stage was about seven minutes, and they cut it down to like a minute and 40 seconds. But anyway, he makes Deuteronomy reappear. And it's sort of the first time that he's never done this trick before, so he's just hoping that... I'm talking Mistoffelees now. He's just hoping that it works, so he's so proud of himself that it worked. And he runs and he jumps into his dad's arms. Yes, I'm going to tell you that right now. It's why they both have magical powers. Although he doesn't know that. Yes, they do tape. I actually have the footage of the full thing, but I can't release it. Come on, toe touches. And I want to tell you that tire was about so high, so much higher than on Broadway. And then when I leaped off of it, I was literally like, I don't know how tall I was, but it was high, and I actually hurt my foot. I didn't break it, but I bruised the bottom of the, like, where your pads of your foot are really badly, and ever since it's not been the same. But yeah, so I jumped off that tire probably 30 times, and I finally, I didn't want to be, a diva about it, but that one, it was the rope one and the jump off the tire that I finally was like, I can't do it anymore. No, you've got it. So yeah. But we took a whole day to shoot the Mistoffelees number, and the thing that was kind of, Jillian really wanted to keep the Mistoffelees number as one full shot. She wanted to do it in one shot, so we just kept filming it and filming it and filming it and filming it, and it was tough. And then they cut it down. So now, sorry, I could talk more about that. Maybe I will, but we got to get to Grizabella. So she comes in one last time. And I love that moment when Johnny goes, you want to say something? Say it. He just presents. And they still won't let her. And Deuteronomy says to, please say it. I've heard you say this before. Now tell everyone. Yeah, the tail in this number is shorter than the regular tail because of the weight and having to do all the tricks. It just was easier. But that was from the original Wayne Sleep, the original Mistoffelees. Amazing Wayne Sleep, who really created that number with Jillian, and I owe so much to him for creating that character. I mean, when she says that, it's a smile at the old days, and you can see her seeing it. this moment when she sees someone. Can you see my cat? What's happening back here? So we were always told you can turn around anywhere between the top of the song and the time that Grizabella falls. It's up to you as an actor to come up with the time that you wanted to do. I always chose the violins because I just thought that was the most dramatic. So that's where I decided to turn around. But also the thought of that, of what she's going through. And then little Jemima stands up, little Syllabub. Oliver's going crazy. She stands up. That little look back that she does, Elaine does to us, it's so easy to leave me, is really to Bomb and Mungojerrie that is standing over there. It's just heartbreaking. And it's amazing that this she made this song iconic. I mean, this is just iconic Broadway memory. It's been in every language possible, and everyone knows this song. And now little Victoria she looks back, is it okay? Deuteronomy says, yes, it's okay. And she goes and she touches her. And she touches her. And relief and love and forgiveness. And I love this part, all walking down, offering my hands, the reverence. And everyone and we come together as a group. And that this right here is what the show is about. It's about forgiveness. It's about community. It's about unity. It's about that we have to do this together. And she thinks that she doesn't quite understand that she is the one that's picked. She can't believe it. And we go, and Deuteronomy now is going to make things happen that we've never seen. And what is so amazing about this moment is that this is when the mega musical took over. This is when Broadway changed. Can you imagine sitting in that theater in 1981 and 1982 on Broadway, and this tire goes up out of nowhere? Game changer. Changed the game of musicals. A tire. This started it all. And we can't believe it. We can't believe this is happening. We've never seen anything like this. Now, this is the first, I can tell you, this is the first shot that they did of this. Because they used so much smoke. and it was coming out, and you can see us. There's some shots where you can see us being like, we're all just coughing. Everyone is hacking and coughing down there because there is so much smoke. And then we shot it a lot of times again and again and again with not as much smoke, but the one that they use is the first shot when they had all the smoke. And then I love this staircase that comes down, and she walks up. There's others that this thing comes down, she gets in it, takes her off, this like spaceship thing. I think the staircase is the most successful. And this music, and it's just so beautiful and really so hard to sing. And you're bending over and you're singing these incredibly high notes, and you push her off with the neck of your wrist. Jillian used to say, use the neck of your wrist, darling, which I guess is this part. I don't know what the neck of your wrist is, but here it is. Yes. And then we listen to our fearless leader give us sort of, he thanks us for doing the right thing. So we shot this with 12 cameras at the beginning. We did a couple of runs with just 12. I think it was 12 cameras everywhere. So usually on Broadway, when you're standing and listening to him, or in the show, wherever you're at, your back is to the audience, so you can like breathe, you know, because you're done for the night. But here, we couldn't do any of that at any time. We had to be on all the time. So these close-ups are fantastic. This is stuff that I've been told. Everyone's asking me if this is made up or you know, is this what we worked out ourselves? This is the stuff that Jillian told me, that Trevor told me, and so it's the best to my as I remember. Cats is one of those things that everyone seems to have a little different memory of. Sorry for the pun, but yes. And but this is what I can tell you. This is my take, and this is what I remember being told. And we stand and we say to the audience, have you learned anything tonight? We go out to them, and yes, I think that part was cut. And I used to love this. Oh, this music, this orchestration. It's just graduation. It sounds like graduation. I love that moment Ken licks and then does this personal taste. I mean, it's so genius. And then we push down our fur. We show off ourselves. Yes. And so I just stole mine from Don Q because I came from Ballet World. So I just gave you full Don Quixote ballet. That's what I'm giving you right there. Here we go. And then Ken hits this B flat. Amazing. Holding it out. I remember the first time he did that, I was like, what the? Oh my God. Stunning. Victory. It's such a good show. I just love it so much. And I'm just so thankful for everything that it has given me in my life. I'm so thankful that I can, all these years later at 10:30 on a Saturday morning, click in and do this commentary and have so many of you that are still here. I'm really proud of it. Oh my God, I'm going to start crying. I'm just really proud of it and proud of the work that everyone did and the friendships that formed out of this. And just so proud that it has touched so many people in so many different ways and that it's so important to people and they still love it. And I was just talking to somebody the other day who's been in the show a couple of times and the fact that they said, I grew up watching you and you made me want to dance. And, and just, and just to see a boy dancing and made it okay for boys to dance, is something that I'm just really proud of that. And, it is not lost on me. And that's what I want to say. And I just thank all of you for being there, being fans, loving the show, commenting, following me on social media, and just being there when I need you sometimes. And it's been really great. It's been a really fun ride. It's been amazing. There's a tagline that we say in the cat's world, now and forever, and I really do believe that. Like, this is now and forever. It will always be a part of my life. That's what it is. I'm so thankful and so blessed and honored to be part of it and proud to be part of something that is so iconic. So thank you all for joining in. We'll do another one. I don't know. We might do more of these, and I will see you all later. Thank you so much. Oh, Chrissy Cartwright and Beth Robinson. They were our amazing dance captains and kept us all together. And I could go on forever. And I've tried to end this, and I've done what I said I wasn't going to do. I need to end this and be done. I love you all. We'll see you again. Bye-bye. If I can find the cursor to go to the thing. Of course.